Okay. I can see comments, and I can see that Lisa's here and a couple of other people. So that was a little bit more problem solving on the fly than I really anticipated. Not a fan. Anyway, I put the new one. Barkity, barkity. Barkity. And I spent a lot of time trying to fix that. Yeah, I just suddenly realized the radio wasn't playing, and every once in a while they get dead air, and then it didn't start up again, and I was like, okay, I think I might have lost my connection. And it wasn't gone for too long. Stacy's back. Nice. Nice to see you. I posted the links in the various Discord places where I post links, so hopefully people will find me. I did not get my nightstand completely. I didn't completely get my nightstand cleaned off because I realized that something was wrong. And Lisa says just a little bit is what it takes sometimes. Yes, a little bit to mess it up and a little bit to fix it. Anyway, while I was over there, I retrieved my, this is my piece of paper with 100 squares on it, and I actually drew a few more just in case. Each square represents 1 hour spent reading, and this is for one of the libraries I go to. This is for their adult summer reading program. And I've been marking some of them into 4 parts. They're not really quarters because they're not even. Just because I don't always read an hour at a time, and I want to keep track of like 15 minutes will do it. So I don't know what day I started this, but. And I have my bingo cards from a couple of other libraries. I talked about that on Monday. And then I have some of these. It's not really bingo because it's not an even number. It's like 4 by 5. So I haven't really read the thing. I thought I would do that live on camera because that's exciting. So yeah, did anybody get anything done during the 10 minutes of yeah? Like I said, I got my nightstand kind of. My nightstand has 3 tiers, and I got like the top tier cleaned off, and I was in the middle of cleaning the middle tier when I realized there was a problem. I also went downstairs to get my beverage. This is like water with, I put a cherry powder, one of those drink mix powders, cherry flavor that I put in there. Lisa says, I scheduled a meeting and got some work done. Nice. So I went downstairs, and while I was doing that, I asked Mom Marionette if she had a prompt for me for the scavenger hunt. And she's been reading a lot of books with the word last in the title. And she said, find a book with the word last in the title. And then she says, I don't know if you have any. And then she looks at me and she goes, well, you must. She said it can be in the subtitle if it's nonfiction. So she's given me a prompt. If anybody else wants to give me a prompt, and let's take a look at what the Cromwell Public Library in Cromwell, Connecticut. I actually got 3 of these because they have 3 different age groups. They have grades 0 to 6, grades 7 to 12, and for adults. She told me, she says they're all pretty much the same. And so this is what happens is you visit the library during the summer reading to collect a bracelet. And you bring your booklet and you get a charm for your charm bracelet. Complete at least 15 of the activities below in order to be entered into our end of summer raffle drawing. You can double dip on activities. Just make sure to return this booklet to the library by August 13th. Okay, let's see what the activities are. Testing, says Kristen. I can see you. I can see your comment. It's refreshing. I mean, that I can see what's going on. Okay, I don't have a lot of light in here. It's nice and dim. Also, if you can hear noise, it's because the hot guy is here mowing my lawn again. Read an award-winning book. Send someone snail mail. Woohoo! Haha. Read a book from the new shelf at the library. Visit the library children's garden at the community garden for Cromwell. Attend a library event. Read 5 days in a row. Read 10 days in a row. Read a book from a library display. Read a book recommended to you by a librarian. I think that is on these 2 bingo cards as well. Attend a town event, library or otherwise. It's not really my town. I might not actually submit this because I'm not a taxpayer in that particular municipality. Visit a local business. We love Tony's flower shop, but flower is spelled like the baking ingredient, not like the thing that grows in the backyard. I don't know about them endorsing a business. However, the Fusion Bakery, the Asian Fusion Bakery that just opened is really good. And also there's something called Jefferson Fry Company. And when I told Mom about doing the Canada stuff for the first week in July, she was like, oh, I suppose we have to go to Jefferson Fry Company and eat poutine. And I was like, well, I was just going to pick up some 2-bite tarts, but I have no objection to this plan. We just haven't done it yet. But that's in Cromwell. Follow the library on Instagram and Facebook. I have already done that. Read a graphic novel. I think that was on one of these as well. Check out a museum pass, kit, or other non-traditional item. Read a book from a genre that you don't normally read. Visit a local business. Oh, yeah, that's the one I already said. Read a book set somewhere you'd like to travel. Read a book you've been meaning to read. That's a lot of them. Recommend a book to a friend and get a rec from them too. Ooh, if anybody wants to be my rec buddy. Read a classic book that you've never read before and play a game with family or friends. Well, let me see. That's the one for adults. I think she told me that they're pretty much the same. Oh, actually, they're not. Use a mode. This is the one for grades 7 to 12. Use a mode of transportation other than a car. Read a Nutmeg. Nutmeg is like the state level, like reading program, award program for middle grade and young adults. Get ice cream at Tall Man's. Why are they sponsoring specific businesses? Maybe those businesses are making financial contributions to the program. Focus. Read for 30 minutes. I've been doing a lot of that. I always do. Watch a book talk video. They didn't put that one on the adults thing. Yeah. So read a book set in the future. Read a book, then watch the movie. Learn a new skill. Read a book set in a different world. So they are a little bit different there. Because I told her when I picked these up, the businesses might be sponsors, says Kristen. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm guessing that they probably paid big to participate in this. I told her, I said, "Oh, I'll do the children's and the teen ones too." And she looks at me and she says, "You'll do the adult one." And I said, I was like, "No, I'll just do the stuff. I won't turn it in to like take a prize away from a kid or a teen." She's like, "Oh, okay, well, yeah, that's fine." And yeah, grades 0 through 6. This isn't on the others. This one is very similar to the teen one. However, it includes follow a cookbook recipe. And I think I missed this prompt when I was sharing the other day, but the Durham Library, I think it's Durham, it says make a recipe from a new cookbook. And this one, this one has go on a book nook, which is a reading picnic. Listen to an audiobook, place a hold on an item at the library. That's very exciting. Like when you're a little kid and you realize you can do that, you're empowered. Nice. Read nonfiction or biography. Send a postcard to the library. And build a fort. Could also be a blanket fort, it says. I'm excited by these challenges. I can't wait to be a part of it. Okay, so are we ready? Hot guy is still mowing the lawn. Are we ready to do like a 30-minute sprint? And I will go do some scavenging, looking to see what books I can find that fulfill some of the prompts on these various cards. Let's sprint. Okay, we're going for 30 minutes here, which means I think 10 minutes past the hour. Yeah. Okay. Okay, here is a beautiful thumbs up from Kristen. There is the radio station, and we are sprinting until 20. Whoops, sprinting until 10. It auto-corrected it to the 100 emoji. No, I don't want the 100 emoji. I had to actually type it out because every time I used the colon, it just wanted to give me an emoji. Okay, I'm shutting up now. Well, I'm not shutting up, but I am muting myself. Okay, and we're back. We're back. I hope nobody was reading a book where somebody was looming over someone else's shoulder and my voice startled you unduly. I finished cleaning my nightstand and I actually did quite a lot of scavenging. How'd everybody's 30 minutes of sprinting go? Hmm. Not yet, LOL, says Kristen. I believe it was Kristen who had a bit of a startlement moment during Sarah and Stormy's sprints on Monday evening because she was reading a Riley Sager book. It went okay. I can't believe that was 30 minutes, says Lisa. Well, it was. I'm not gaslighting you here. That really was 30 minutes. Um, I did the scavenging and now I don't know where I set down my papers. But I have a lot of stuff here. Oh, and I also have, oh, that's where the papers were. I have my cork board. There we go. With map of North America, well, US and Canada. So if anybody has any places that they want me to put a pin in, the book I finished this morning was like, it was history. It was history, religious studies. It was cults in America, like religious cults. And it kind of took place all over the country because it was not specifically located to a particular place, although she did talk about Massachusetts and California and so on. The book I started last night is in Montana. Nice. Nice. I don't have anybody from Montana. I saw when I was at Walmart yesterday, I saw some cute pins, push pins, but they were colors that I thought would probably blend into the map a little too hard. So is it a specific location in Montana? Or do you know yet? I can just put it in the middle of the state. Anyway, but I thought they would blend in. So, and they didn't have any of like the ones that are just like push pins that are very colorful. They didn't have any of those. So they had some clear ones that were very nice, but again, it's a fake city, so let's do middle of the state, says Lisa. Okay. Wait it. Whoops. I think I just. Well, that's weird. Okay. Montana. Started Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I believe that's in Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul area. Twin Cities. Are you liking it so far? So yeah, Twin Cities. And it turns out my papers were underneath the cork board. Okay. Now, this is one I mentioned on Monday when I was talking about the prompts, and that's a book that starts with an R, and I have Role Playing, which is out from the library. Most of the books that I found are books that I own, and I'm not sure that really, if I'm supposed to be using the bingo card to explore the library, then yeah. Anyway, Role Playing, and it's slightly older adults. She's 48 and she's 48, he's 50, and they meet in a multiplayer online game. Stormy says, hey, I was doing dishes and trying to make banana bread as I had some rather lame looking bananas, lol. Forgot to check back in. Well, is the banana bread at least good? If you're reading a book that takes place in a location in the United States or Canada, I can put a pin on the board to represent it. Currently listening to Fern by Lee Greenwood. That's music, isn't it? Or is that a different Lee Greenwood? I'm confused. Okay, so that was the one that I already talked about on Monday, but some of you probably weren't here, at least not for all 7.5 hours of Monday's live stream. Okay, a childhood favorite. This is one I also talked about on Monday. It's a childhood favorite. It has non-human characters. It's baking, so time will tell. Okay. It is a a childhood favorite that has non-human characters and is about an immigrant, and that is Wizard of Oz. And Ozma of Oz, I think, was the one I was specifically talking about, maybe Emerald City of Oz. Anyway, this is volume 1 of the complete collection. So this has Wizard of Oz, whatever the second book was called, Marvelous Land of Oz, and Ozma of Oz. So non-humans, childhood favorite, immigrant characters. So that's that one. An alliterative title. It's a step back. And it is Secret Song by Catherine Coulter. Are we ready? This is a different person, male writing under a female name. This is book 2 of 7 Brides. Well, because I know that Lee Greenwood, country singer, is L-E-E, and that's a dude. And I saw the L-E-I-G-H. I'm like, probably not the same person. Still a dude, but writing as a lady. Okay, so anyway, Secret Song. Are we ready for the step back? Because there is one. Oh, yeah. It's like some kind of medieval thing. And he's very, I can't see, I'm not, he is very kindly helping her off her horse and into his arms. Love that step back, says Lisa. Into his arms. I could have been cruder, but I wasn't. And then over here, we have Anthony Hopkins as Odin. That's like every dude with an eye patch is Odin. OMG, says Stormy. Such a cool step back. And this takes place at 1275. I was like, this kind of gives me medieval vibes. And it takes place in 1275. So that's Catherine Coulter. Oh, that's a bonus points on alliteration because the title is alliterative and so is the author's name. So, and then I have, a book I've been meaning to read. What is it? What was it? A book I've been meaning to read. And this one's been on my TBR for a while. And I actually don't have books on my Storygraph TBR. This is like, I have some books on my Storygraph. I always want to call it Storygraph. Storygraph pile. What is it they call it? The to read pile. I don't actually add books to that anymore. I just enter them as I read them, but I still have some that are on there as a legacy because I haven't gotten to them yet. And that is Seven Sisters by Lucinda Riley, which is the first of an 8-book series. And it's like family drama and secrets. And there are these 7 sisters who were adopted from all over the world by a wealthy man. And then each book is about them going back to find their biological roots. And this one is the first. And this sister is going to find her biological roots in Rio de Janeiro. And so you have like, it's a framing device for an historical story that takes place in the Belle Epoque. So the late, like around the 1890s in Rio de Janeiro. And I've been meaning to start this series for a while, and so long that I've actually accumulated 3 of the 8 books from my library sales attendance. So that's one, another one. And then my mom Marionette herself, gave me a prompt, and it was a book with the word last in the title because that's kind of what she's been gravitating toward lately. And so I got The Last One at the Wedding by Jason Rekulak. And that is, I recently read Hidden Pictures. Anna and I did that as a buddy read. And, ooh, it's gotten really dark outside all of a sudden. And I liked it. And so this one. And it's about a woman who's getting married. It's her father's telling the story. His daughter calls him to say she's getting married. She's marrying a very wealthy dude. So he's invited to the wedding. And he goes to the town where the wedding is taking place, and he thinks things are a little weird. He is shocked when his daughter Maggie calls him for the first time in 3 years. She invites him to her wedding. He arrives to find out that the wedding is at a private estate very much out of his league. And she's marrying the son of a billionaire. He tries to get to know her and to reconnect with her and get to know her fiance, but the fiance is withdrawn and evasive. Maggie, his daughter, doesn't want to talk to him or doesn't seem to have time for him. And the locals are disturbingly hostile to the Gardeners. That's the wealthy family. Frank needs to know more about this family, but if he pushes too hard, he could lose Maggie forever. Hidden Pictures was a thriller, so I think that's where we're coming from here. And then the other one that let's see, the other prompt that I found some books for out of my own personal collection is a book. Where is it? A 700s nonfiction book. That is to say, not a book that was written in the 700s, but rather one that is in the 700s in the Dewey Decimal System. And that is arts and entertainment. So sports, television, fine arts, studio arts, music, movies, etc. And I actually found a few. Oh, another one was read a graphic novel. So I thought I could reread V for Vendetta, or I could get one from the library since I don't have that many graphic novels, and this is one of the few I have. Oh, wow. But I have some books that would be in the 700 section. I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 2, 4, 6. I have 7. So I think maybe we could talk about those after the next sprint. I also think I'm probably going to relocate to beautiful downtown my bed because I have a little bit of a sour stomach and I kind of like to just kind of sprawl out. So, are we ready for? We could do 30 minutes, no problem, or we could do 40 minutes, which would take us to the top of the hour. What do people think? Mm, mm. Let's do 40, Lisa. Well, since you're the first one to express an opinion, you get your way. So we are sprinting. Okay, there's the radio station again, and we are sprinting until the top of the hour. Whoops. Yay. Okay, I'll see you in about 40 minutes. Okay, it's been 40 minutes. Well, 38, but it's the top of the hour. It's 4 p.m. where I am. How's everybody doing? How are your sprints? I sat down and read for a little bit, and I did some puttering around for a little bit, and yes. Mhm. Uh, let's see. I think I said I was going to talk about this giant. I have 7 books that would be in the 700s section of the library if they were library books. And in fact, one of them used to be a library book. So, first up, we have the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Amazing Colossal Episode Guide. And I've kind of read it to pieces. Oh, and Lisa says, I did a little bit of putting together my digital planner. Nice. And anyway, this is the guide to a television show. So that's 700s. And I'm not sure if this one is 700s for movies or 800s for history. The cataloging and publication data doesn't give the Dewey Decimal number, but it is the Hollywood history of the world from 1 million years BC to Apocalypse Now by George MacDonald Fraser, who also wrote some adventure books, the Flashman series, and that's what it says on the label. And movies again, Out at the Movies, A History of Gay Cinema by Stephen Paul Davies or Davis. I don't know. Some people with that last name spelling pronounce it Davis. Sometimes it's Davies. Anyway. And I have Flesh and Fantasy by Peggy Stallings. And she's an entertainment journalist. And this originally came out in the 70s and it was reissued in the 80s. And it's just kind of like a scrapbook, which has all kinds of just fun little stuff about the studio system, the movies of the golden age of Hollywood, so-called. Like, here you can see Claudette Colbert and so on, that era. And then this one, I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find some cataloging. Okay, I don't see any publication data. Let's see about where it might have been cataloged, if it was a 700 or not, but it is about a toy, and that sometimes can be in 600s, sometimes in 700s. It's called Jean Marshall Girl Star, and it's an autobiography of a fake person, but it's kind of like based on Barbie, sort of. It is the chronicle of the meteoric ascension of one of Hollywood's most dazzling stars. This is not a real person, it's fictitious. Yeah. She's a fashion doll that somebody wrote a book about, kind of based on Barbie. I mean, the fashion doll herself kind of looks like Barbie. But somebody's written, see, here are a couple of pictures of movies she's been in, or stills from movies she's been in. But she hasn't really, because she's fictitious. Like, there she is on the back. So it's just kind of, I don't know. Is it fiction? Is it film history? Sort of. Because, I mean, it is based on the actual studio system. Is it a toy because she's a doll? The actual studio system. Is it a toy because she's a doll? Is it all of these and so much more besides? And then those glorious glamour years. And this is Classic Hollywood Costume Design of the 1930s by Margaret Bailey. Oh, Jean Marshall Girl Star was by Mel Odom. And you can see that there's just like a lot of black and white photography of movie stars looking just so glamorous. That's Claire Trevor. And let's see. Maureen O'Sullivan. Marlena Dietrich. And various people on the cover. I see Katharine Hepburn, and I don't even know who, Myrna Loy. I can't identify these people. Where would books about books be located? Not specific books, but maybe genre types. That's probably going to be in the 800s. That's like literature, literary analysis, and criticism, that kind of thing. Unless you're in an academic library, then it's going to be in the Library of Congress. Those are all going to start with the letter P, and then it'll be a second letter, which depends on the country of origin. Like PS would be for the United States, and that actually covers movies as well. PR, at least criticism, history, that kind of thing, of fictional movies. PR would be, I think, the United Kingdom. No, PN is the United Kingdom. And also, I think the rest of the Commonwealth falls under PN as well. So like the United Kingdom, Australia, etc., Canada. Yeah, so yeah, it would be in the 800s. But movie criticism in the Dewey Decimal System, movie criticism would be in the 700s, unless it was like something about book to movie adaptations, in which case it would actually, frankly, probably also be in the 700s, because, you know, it would be, the emphasis would be on the fact that it's becoming a motion picture, and that's 700s, arts and entertainment. And then one last one, and this is television, and I know that this one is in the 700s because it's a deaccession of the library book, and the original call number was 791.456 by Diana Friedman, and it's called Sitcom Style, and it's deaccessioned from the Mid-Continent Public Library, which is Kansas City, Missouri, and I have it as a deaccession library book. I actually ordered this as a used book from Amazon because I just wanted to take a look at it. And it just has different floor plans and decorating styles from different sitcoms. Like, here we go. I'm pretty sure that's Friends, isn't it? So they have Leave It to Beaver, The Cosby Show, Everybody Loves Raymond, Three's Company, Third Rock from the Sun, Munsters, I Dream of Jeannie, Jetsons. Let's see. One of these has got to be Friends. I don't see Friends. How can that be? Yeah, here it is. Page 100 is Friends. They call it Bohemian Eclectic. Golden Girls. Ooh, I hope so. Golden Girls. I once went to a restaurant. It was the last time my mom and I ate at a full service sit down restaurant before the pandemic, just like a few weeks before lockdown. And it was decorated like the Golden Girls. They had that kind of tropical upholstery and wicker and rattan furniture. Let's see, Golden Girls. Let's see if it's in the index, maybe. Oh, they don't have a proper index. Let's see. Oh my gosh, no. They don't have the Golden Girls. Phooey, because that would be an awesome one. Anyway, I have All in the Family. Roseanne. Sex in the City. Well, blasphemy, says Kristen. You're not kidding about this. How can we leave out the Golden Girls? That is what I would like to know. How are we not talking about the Golden Girls? This is no, just now. I mean, Frasier was fine, but why would you have Frasier but not the Golden Girls? Just so that they can write yet another essay about Martin's chair? Okay. Well, I am incensed. Incensed, I tell you. Well, I got a little more informally dressed, and I feel a little bit better. Do we want to do another sprint? 30 minutes? Are people interested in that? Does anybody have a prompt for me? Anything you want me to scavenge? Yes, says Kristen. I guess that means another sprint. I did have a scavenge that I wanted to mention, and this was something I did the other day, and it was actually a scavenger hunt for something for an Instagram photo. I took a picture. I was using the candle I was using was a tea light, just like one of these little ones. It's called Bloody Rose, and it's just it's like rose and petrichor. It's really good. Maybe a little bit of musk, I think, or amber. It's really nice, but it wouldn't show up very well, especially since it was it was for weaponized, and which was exists only as a digital book, and so I wanted something that would make it stand out a little bit. So I was like, I need to put it on something because it's such a little candle. So I thought I might do it on this. This is actually a little demi-tasse, and I thought maybe because it's a tea light, it might fit into this little depression glass salt cellar, which it didn't quite, or this one, it doesn't quite fit. And then I got this little tiny shot glass. It's part of like a decanter. I don't know if it's a sherry glass or whiskey glass or what it's supposed to be. So I just turned that on its upside down and balanced the tea light on top of it. And I think it turned out pretty good. But I did go on a scavenger hunt in my house to find something that I could put that little candle on. And Kristen says, cute, thank you. I don't have my glasses. She left a longer comment about how she's finally getting into her arc. I got another chapter in my arc, and I'm interested in it finally. Does it have another entitled female main character? I know that was like an issue you were having with like the last 3 books that you read. That smells so nice. I actually was working on one of the Harlequin arcs for a book that's coming out at the end of the month on July 28th, called Fake Dating on the Orient Express. That is a title that has many things in it, which I am interested in. And I read it for about 30, 35 minutes while my mom was doing stuff while I was waiting for her up in Farmington. Yes, it does, says Kristen. You just can't get away from it. So this is 4 in a row, or was that part of the 3 in a row that you were talking about? Just can't get away from it. Okay. I actually, to burn the candle in for real, I picked up some of these at Dollar Tree, and this is very thick glass. One thing the fire department told me, I mean, not because I set anything on fire, it was just part of a safety awareness demonstration, was that when you get those little votive candle holders or tea light candle holders, when the glass is really thin and untempered, You can really only use them like a couple of times, just like for one candle, because the more you light the candle, the glass gets hot, you blow the candle out, the glass gets cold, and that over time will weaken the glass, and eventually it will crack, and sometimes it will crack while there's a lit candle in it, and that's potentially going to cause a fire, and probably in circumstances you don't want one. Like you're trying to light a nice candle so you can relax, and then suddenly your curtains are on fire, and it's a big mess. But this is thick tempered glass, so should be okay. But I'll keep an eye on it. They shatter, yes. Speaking from experience. Oh, Kristen, that must have been scary as heck. Yeah, it's that lighting, that's that heating, cooling, that'll weaken the glass. So yes, another sprint. Do we want to do half an hour until 45 minutes past the hour, quarter to the next hour? Does that sound good? I am going to relocate to beautiful downtown my bed, as promised or threatened. Although I can keep the camera, the laptop camera pointed at the summer tree, if you'd rather look at that. Anyway, okay. So we have here, okay. Sprint until 46. And yeah, 46. And I'm not going to be listening to the radio station myself because I'm going to be reading. And like I said, I can't listen to the radio and read at the same time. It just doesn't work for me, but I know some people are into it. But if you want to listen to some classic rock and some ads for products and services you can purchase in the state of Connecticut, there you go. Okay, it's been another half hour or thereabouts. I spent 15 minutes reading and another 15 minutes tidying up around the place. I put away those books I had brought in here to show on camera. I put away my little crystal and porcelain things, or glass and porcelain things that have been. I took those pictures on Monday and they've been cluttering up my space ever since because I just haven't gotten around to taking them downstairs. Now I have. They've been put away. Neater than when I found them. And so, yeah. And I did some other miscellaneous puttering. And the book I'm currently reading is Cross My Heart by Megan Collins. I thought I'd read something by her, but then I realized that I had actually read a book by Megan Miranda. This is about a woman who is a heart transplant recipient, and she is communicating with the donor. And they're getting like, they're supposed to, what's the phrase I'm looking for? They're connecting through some sort of like anonymized donor services where donors can get in touch with the friends and family of the people whose organs they received. And anyway, I guess it's like a psychological thriller. I'm not sure. So Kristen says, I started listening to What Lies in the Woods, and it's located in the Pacific Northwest. So Oregon, you think? I might have read that one. I don't know. Let's put a pin in Oregon. It's over here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oops. Knocked the laptop. I put it in Oregon. And here's the thing. When I was in Walmart the other day, I picked up some stickers, and the light has kind of not ideal. So hopefully you can see them. It's like a combination of like too dark and too bright. These are travel related stickers, which I'm holding upside down. You can see there is a car with some suitcases on the top, which, I mean, if you squint and tilt your head, it could be the Volkswagen microbus, the magical Volkswagen microbus that B has us driving around in. And fun, says Kristen. And there's a camera and a passport and another little car with stuff on top and a sticker that says enjoy the journey. So I think I am going to put some of this stuff in the copious blank spots that I have on this board. These are somewhat textured. Oh, one of them's a little map. So I'll have a map on the map, adjacent to the map. So I'll do some placement of that at some point. Stretch break. So do folks want to do another sprint, or do we want to close it up for the day? I'm good either way. Does anybody have fun stuff coming up for the weekend? I am going to be posting a video, I think, late tomorrow night where I am, like, because it's bargain counter argument after hours. So I'm going to be posting that like late at night because I don't know. I filmed it in the morning, but no, it's after hours. And then Monday is this upcoming Monday, which I believe is the 14th, is Book Talk with Sock, and Kristen will be joining me so we can talk about dark romances. So I'm hoping, well, that should be a good time. I'm hoping other people enjoy it. I know I'll have a good time. See, that's the 14th. CC, the 14th. So yeah, so that's Book Talk with Sock coming up Monday the 14th at 7 with Kristen Lee as well. and talking about dark romances, and also maybe a little sideline in books you don't want to recommend because maybe making that recommendation would be a little too revealing. Well, I mean, obviously, if you talk about it in the live stream, you're revealing something, but you're revealing it to other people who read dark romances. Books you might not want to recommend to somebody you know in real life or to your other bookish friends who don't read dark romance because you're like, do they need to know that about me? I don't know. So that's what's coming up on the channel. And I think I'm going to call it in. I'm going to call it for the day. I'm getting kind of tired. It seemed like Monday when I started at 10 o'clock in the morning, I went for like over 7 hours, over 7.5 hours. So maybe starting earlier in the day might be a thing to do or to consider doing. Or maybe I'll just save that for special occasions when I'm feeling like just having a live stream out of nowhere. Anyway, so thank you for joining me, all who did. And I will probably see you around. I believe, Kristen, you are having sprints. That's for the sprints. Oh, thanks. That's for the sprints. Thanks for the sprints. Kristen, you're having sprints on Saturday morning, I believe. Do you know what time yet, or are you still working on that? Give you a chance to answer before I was off, because people want to know. I want to know. Saturday, okay. Specific time, or do you know yet? This is for me and the people who are still here and the people who might be watching this back later. Stretching my face muscles. Kristen says 8 a.m. my time. So that's 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern. And 9 o'clock Mountain, 10 o'clock Central, if I'm remembering how time zones work. Anybody else, I don't know what you do for other time zones because I don't know who has who's on daylight saving time and who isn't. So 11 a.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Central. Yep. And like I said, 9 p.m. Mountain. And whatever other people are doing, like I said, I don't really want to guess because I don't know who does what for daylight saving. So, okay, well, thank you all for joining. And if you're watching it back later, thank you for doing that. And I will see you later on, either in Kristen's Sprints on Saturday or Book Talk with Top Monday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern, or possibly, oh, Barkty, or next week for Midweek Motivation, or otherwise in Discord or around the town. Barkity, which is Barkity for good day, and I hope you have a pleasant day or night.